Dr. Mani Asfor, President of the African Business Council, and all the dear friends and colleagues who are here, the distinguished speakers and guests, good morning and welcome to Kigali. I am pleased to be here today to give opening remarks on the occasion of this side event hosted by the Coalition for Reproductive Justice in Business, an initiative of various partners that Ian has mentioned. And for myself and the wider United Nations team in Rwanda, we say welcome to the land of 1,000 hills. The focus of this discussion on accelerating private sector action on women's health in business sits well within the broader theme of this Women Deliver Conference to catalyze collective action to advance gender equality. These themes are further in line with the objectives of the United Nations system in Rwanda and beyond to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030, specifically the goals to achieve gender equality and to empower all women and girls, SDG 5, and the goal to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages, SDG 3. And the evidence in recent times is sobering that at current projections, current trends, none of our countries will meet all the 17 development goals. And that's why this conversation becomes important, because governments cannot do it alone. It's through private sector action, complementing national initiatives that perhaps we can accelerate the journey towards realizing the SDGs. And so the need for increased collaborative action, strategic partnerships, and innovative financing is even more pronounced as a result of what we all know, the multiple crises, COVID-19, climate change, conflict in the global economy. A couple of days ago, we got the saddening news that Russia has pulled out of the grain initiative, and wheat prices are rising already around the world. And this is despite all the valiant efforts of the United Nations Secretary General to accommodate the needs of Russia to be able to export some of its own agricultural products. And so whatever gains we may have made since the start of that initiative may just erode before our eyes by the time we leave this conference this weekend. And you look at the statistics by UN Women, and I know the numbers keep changing about how long, how many number of years it will take to achieve full gender equality. And then, of course, our task is further challenged by the backlash against women's sexual and reproductive health and rights. So the number of years is immaterial. What counts is that we have work to do, and that unless we speed up, actually, we are in a race against time, that we might not succeed. But we live in hope. For all of us who are in this room, who work in the development space, private sector agencies that see the possibilities between development and profit and make those connections for social and economic transformation, it's all about hope. So we cannot be dismayed. It's our energies, it's our capacities, it's our resilience that allows us to push forward to ensure that no one will be left behind. And now we're in the halfway mark to 2030. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, women's economic empowerment is critical towards sustainable development. So I'm very pleased that as a United Nations system in Rwanda, we are working very closely with the government of Rwanda, which is also a leader in women's economic participation. Many speakers at the opening yesterday and many other platforms acknowledged the contribution that Rwanda has made, particularly the ministerial forum which took place yesterday morning. But we also acknowledge the journey that's still ahead for Rwanda even. And the fascinating thing about Rwanda, which makes us happy as a United Nations system, is the intentionality by the government about the direction of travel. And the recognition that there's no pathway for development, that each country, each society must articulate its pathway. You can learn from the comparative experience of others, but the pathway is a conjecture of the historical, social, and economic travels, experiences, lived experiences that many countries have traveled. And so for Rwanda, there's a clear path by the government by where it wants to go. So the expectation on us then is very clear. Support Rwanda in its socio-economic transformation. You don't have to have the money, but please come with the ideas. And we all know Ideas bring money. It's not the other way around. So all of us gathered here in Rwanda, all the ideas that come through here, I can say to you that the one country that we want to test and experiment what we'll be learning from the panel will be Rwanda. Together from the UN system, with my UNFPA colleagues in country, but also with all of us, working with private sector in Rwanda, but the United Nations system. So this is the journey towards social and reproductive rights and health of women and girls is a key dimension of our mandate as a United Nations system in Rwanda, led by my colleagues in the United Nations Population Fund, their country office. I don't see Kwabena here, but he's been a key pillar of our UN country team in our support to the government of Rwanda. So we cannot speak of creating equal opportunities for women without addressing the need for their health and their well-being. However, the responsibility does not lie with the governments and development institutions alone. It is vital that the conversation and approaches to advance the rights of women and girls explores various avenues, including the role of the private sector as a vehicle for change and transformation. This is a key dimension of the reforms that have taken place within the United Nations system since Mr. Antonio Guterres became Secretary General. The role of the UN system is not navel-gazing, it's not internal, it's outward-facing, it's external. Our responsibility is to support member states in their journey towards the Sustainable Development Goals, in their pathways. So it's an accompanying role. We have a brokering, a facilitating, and a convening role. And that is irrespective of whether the money passes through the United Nations system or not. So the role of the panel is central to where we hope to go as a United Nations system, that those ideas together, as a UN system with my colleagues in UNFPA, we can convene the spaces that allow a deeper conversation about the issues that will emerge at the panel. And then private sector colleagues, of course, you work for profit. So with a profit motive, but with a corporate social responsibility dimension, but also that investing in the SDGs is good business for everyone. It's good business for private sector. We can find the pathways that lead to socio-economic transformation in Rwanda, but also for profit for our private sector partners. So businesses have the power to push the needle on the advancement of women's reproductive health and rights, gender equality, and women's economic empowerment. Their reach to the women they engage as employees, customers, suppliers, and communities can no longer be advanced solely for profit, but profit is an important dimension, and we do recognize that. As companies reflect on the corporate sustainability responsibilities, improving the health of women and girls should naturally be top priority. As today's session explores the power of collaborative action and strategic partnerships towards advancing joint development goals, the United Nations in Rwanda values the opportunity to collaborate and work with various stakeholders. I made that point already, so I'm more than happy with my colleagues, Maria Rosa, Ian, Beme, for us to take that conversation forward and use Rwanda as a proof of concept of some of the ideas that will emerge from the panel. So recognizing the diversity in skills, in thought, and approaches that a broad base of supporters provides, we are continuously engaging key partners in different sectors to support the broad development mandate and to explore opportunities for collaboration, as this will help to achieve the set goals and have a positive impact on Rwanda's growth and development. Beyond the private sector, we're engaging various players, academia, philanthropy, civil society, and others, leveraging the strengths and ideas from multiple sectors towards greater impact. I'm happy to elaborate on this in the after the panel. A good illustration of the partnership actually is a joint program that we are implementing, which we have called 1,000 health posts in the land of 1,000 hills, and is designed to promote universal health coverage by catalyzing investments in financially and environmentally sustainable primary health care. Through this initiative, we are leveraging public, private, and community partnerships. This program is led by our UNFPA country office here, but brings together 7 United Nations agencies that include the Capital Development Fund, UNDP, UNICEF, WHO, UN Habitat, and Office of the High Commissioner for Refugees. And the aim is to mobilize impact capital to more rapidly scale up health posts towards full national coverage as well as to increase the financial and environmental sustainability of the operations. So we can't ignore the logic of profit for the operators. This project is actively advancing access to healthcare for all and directly contributes towards the 3 transformative goals of our UN Fund for Population Activities, which are to end the unmet needs for family planning and maternal deaths, and to end harmful practices such as gender-based violence. This initiative would not have been possible without the support of a joint SDG fund, which is an initiative spearheaded by our boss, Mr. Antonio Guterres, and is designed to support countries in accelerating progress towards the SDGs. And so with thanks to our partners and collaborators, the Ministry of Health and Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning in Rwanda, financial institutions in Rwanda, as well as the Society for Family Health, we are all working together to drive the scale-up and functionality of health posts across the country and to ensure accessibility, especially for those being left behind. And of course, the drive of UNFPA, and in particular, our friend and boss, Natalia, who provided initial seed capital. So on behalf of the UN country team, please extend to Natalia our deep appreciation for that investment that now has allowed us to catalyze other investments towards meeting the health needs of the people of Rwanda. In conclusion, I want to remind us of the importance of investing in women's health. With the right resources, women can create incredible economic growth for themselves, their families, and communities. And so partnerships with governments, corporations, private sector, and non-profits are crucial towards realizing these benefits to our societies. I would like to encourage all organizations represented here to support the initiative of the Coalition for Reproductive Justice in Business and to urge Rwandan companies to join this global movement so that we can all ensure we're taking an active role in the healthy lives of all women and girls. And please, while you're in Kigali, do remember this is a workshop which has 2 dimensions, the work and the shop. Don't leave Kigali without taking something to remind you of this wonderful country. So I'd like to thank everyone and wish all of us a fantastic conversation. Thank you.